tool, Direman.
And here we are back after a short break with EG versus OG. This proves to be, well, it hasn't proven to be, looks to be one of the better series for today.
Yes, and it's not just about the quality teams; it's also about the fan bases. I think this is going to be one of the more contentious. You got the EA, the NA versus the EU. You've got like the OG brand that's kind of coming back, doing really well, versus the EG brand that's also in the same position. You got the drama of Fly and S4 leaving OG. This match has everything. This is like the meme match of the day for sure. And it also means big stuff in terms of TI. You got to get your wins, and you got to win your groups, and you got to place well.
So top storylines, top meme value. In terms of Dota, though, like you say, it also feels like it could really deliver. These two teams have both been on the rise. EG, who looked like, the third best NA team for a while, now no longer looking like the third best NA team. It looks like they're back where they used to be. VGJ Storm have also elevated their play. I think are looking similar to EG, but it's no longer that EG's playing bad. They're looking really good. OG, same thing. Dominating Europe, easy qualifier for them, and have looked pretty good even on the tournaments they played outside of those European qualifiers.
Yeah, we did catch one of the OG series yesterday, and I would say their first game they looked really solid and competitive against Liquid, just outplayed late game by a better team basically. In game 2 they got kind of stomped all of a sudden. It was like the game ended pretty rapidly, so slightly disappointing performance I think for OG fans yesterday. But still look like a around 8th place team maybe on OG side is probably what I'd say. Maybe could go higher or lower depending on how they stay as a pattern team so far.
They finished day 1 with 1 win and 3 losses, which sounds bad, but 2 of those losses were to Liquid, and the draw was against someone else good, LGD I want to say.
Yeah, which is super respectable, actually. Yes. Especially if you don't watch those 2 Liquid games, I think it'd be very easy to be like, oh, one of them they got stomped and the other they lost. Like, totally, they did bad. But yeah, I would absolutely agree. OG is not bad. It'll be interesting to see if they can do well against EG. But I think this is our first EG game, right?
Yes. In terms of OG's group, they're playing probably the 3 strongest teams first. Like,
yeah. That must
LGD, Liquid, EG.
Would you think that'd be good confidence-wise? Be like, get the hard stuff out of the way, and then, but at the same time, like you would almost want to wait until you can see their meta really well, and then take some crucial wins, perhaps later in the groups.
I think that never feels good to like if they go into day 2 and they're like, shit, we're 1 and 3. Like we have a losing record. That doesn't feel good. Even though you can tell each other, look, we played the two scariest teams on group. Because then you also look at LGD. I think LGD's record is like 3 and 3. It's actually not that amazing. So there's some teams in this group who are actually like EG, who like you go into this day and you're like, okay, we're 1 and 3, let's get some wins today. Oh, we're gonna verse EG, who's first place in this group, I want to say.
Yeah, I mean, it could also just be that some of those live teams like LGD are really just like a 5th or 6th best team at TI rather than the expected 2 or 3, maybe 1. So I don't know. OG's gonna open Tiny. This is definitely one of the heroes they favored a lot in the last couple days, for multiple reasons. Gives you map pressure with Shadow Blades, Blink Daggers, things like that. The laning stage seems good and against a lot of matchups, and you can also hit buildings, which seem to be useful for them. So they'll play it around. Anna played it sometimes. Thompson played it other times. This feels like a good opening for OG. That's fairly safe.
Always a team that's kind of valued those flexible heroes that can go multiple lanes, which is exactly what Tiny's going to bring to the table. EG, they're going to get the Necro. Will they get the Shadow Demon with it? Because I don't know if these Western teams value that as a counter to the Necro as much, but that's exactly what we've seen out of China in a few games where you don't want to give Shadow Demon when you pick Necro.
I would say it's not the most typical hero for OG. I feel like I haven't seen them played very much. Usually No-Tail sitting to a more self-sufficient support, with the exception of his Enchantress game. That was a little interesting. Played very well. So, I mean, I'm sure they can absolutely handle the hero, but I feel like they'll focus on something a little different, is my initial hunch. But who knows? The meta will always change. A lot of their other comfort heroes are gone, though. Pugna's out. That's a hero that they played across all positions very often. Seb playing that, played very well. Thompson in the qualifiers was a big fan of the Pugna. And EG going something a little bit more expected prior to the tournament, like a CM Necro opening. Feels weird on day 2 to me, but day 1 this looks like the normal opening, at least.
It's Fly as well, after all. One of his most beloved heroes next to the Phoenix, probably.
And the Clinks.
The Clinks, yeah. Can't forget about his Clinks. And should be a pretty good fit. The aura definitely nice for the Necro and will be something that their future heroes can benefit from. Pugna Ban makes a lot of sense when they're going to be going into this Necro pick, and here comes the Necro counter. It's the Oracle. They're opting for this over the Shadow Demon. Very similar idea where you can block the damage from the ultimate, You have a Purge for the Ghost Shroud, and generally seems like a decent enough strong 5 position lane.
Even Fate's Edict against Crystal Maiden can be pretty good. Some of those times where a CM is popping an ulti and you don't have any stuns left, and keeping at least one of your cores alive could be really useful there. But yeah, the Necro counter aspect it was really useful in the last game we just covered, the newbie versus BT Gaming match. Oracle was very good. A little weak in laning stage, kind of weak pre-3. Once you get 3, he starts getting online level 4 and onwards. Oracle is a pretty solid support. I think it's most likely to be No-Tail playing it, but I could definitely see JRX for Oracle as well. Just is going to have some gank issues later, so I imagine it'll be a 5 for OG over here. So bans, we see an Alchemist, hero that EG was using successfully in their mid lane, and EG taking their time, maybe thinking about kicking a power supply over. Buy themselves a couple more seconds. I don't even know if that was a newbie or VG. I don't remember which one it was. Who's disconnected?
VG who lost their power.
Okay, all right. Allegedly kick their power.
That's the old Dota 1 strat. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we're losing.
Disconnected.
Yep. Oh, what do you know? We got to remake the game.
Yeah. Good old days. Enigma ban. I'm actually comfortable. I like watching Enigmas, but after that last game, I'm gonna need a couple days off. I think maybe a couple matches off till I want to see another Enigma game. It's just too painful. Too painful.
You're hoping for more.
Yes.
What a world we live in where OG are the ones banning Alchemist.
I guess so.
We'd get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely one of their power heroes. I mean, everybody talks about the illusion advantage that they always really liked, and they did pretty much directly with all their major wins. They directly resulted in nerfs to illusions hitting buildings.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That was even pre-Shadow Demon days.
Yeah. Well, the Alchemist specifically, because that was a hero that teams were like, 4th or 5th picking to win games. They would just OG were like, we're gonna first, and it's always good.
Yeah.
But Sumail played Alchemist in day 1, so I think it's something EG have shown that they like to play. It was actually an Alchemist with Clinks and Ursa. A very unique draft in terms of the core heroes they had, but no Alchemist, no Clinks as well. Going to be going EG's way.
It's one of the cool things about a lot of those heroes that are trending right now, like Clinks and Ursa, is that they do have the potential to have really strong matchup wins. Maybe I'm just thinking a lot about lanes and matchup wins right now, so maybe that's why it feels like it's more prevalent, but it does feel like that's so much about heroes right now, so that's why they're trending in the first place. So maybe I'm chicken and egging my explanation here, but I like the Ursa pick. It's good against Tiny in lane. I felt like we did see a lot of Tiny versus Ursa, I believe yesterday when OG played Liquid, but it felt like it was decent both ways. It's like, obviously Ursa is very good in lane against Tiny, but it felt like at the right time Tiny can show up and chain stun an Ursa for like 2 seconds basically with ally follow up and just kill him. So I don't know, did you feel like the matchup is
it doesn't feel no, yeah, I don't think it's like, oh yeah, Ursa's going to be a great counter. Ursa has a game because he's against a melee core, which it's way better than versing a hero. You're not getting kited around, but yeah, like you say, Tiny has his moments where if he gets the initiation off and catches Ursa out of the enrage, he's going to blow him up. So see how it pans out.
So maybe one place that OG's now limited in their lane matchups, knowing they don't want to lane against an Ursa. Matoma Man, I'm sorry, different team, but the blue teams, they will kind of blend together. But Matoma Man did a really good job on the laning stage. I imagine EG can do the same thing.
Yep.
Clink's ban, Weaver was the other ban as well. So probably Weaver ban, expecting the Ursa pick, I would have to guess. Weaver very good against CM2, arguably. Frostbite's a little annoying, obviously, but a lot of the cases he'll just kind of shake that off and finish off the CM kill. So OG's other expected heroes, it feels like most of the typical ones are gone. Go for a Centaur, that'll be Seb's hero.
OG really likes Centaur. Why would you say that is? Because they were getting banned against him yesterday? Yeah. They ran along the qualifiers, or at least a few times.
I guess that's kind of a good question. The hero has decent win rates. I mean, my weather vane was kind of based around Sunsfan always complaining that Centaur was bad, but his win rates have been fine. He can lane well. If he gets a lane advantage, the right usage of your ulti can be super amazing for helping you escape fights. I think in the case of being against an Undyne, it's pretty nice to have Centaur too. He drops Tomb in the right situation. Maybe if you can disengage, you do take that. But it's maybe another pair stun with stun thing as well. Like another Blink hero, he can get stuff done.
Stampede also against the Ursa. If you're in a bad spot, everyone can get away from that.
Until he gets Smasher.
Yeah.
I love Undyne as well as a hero. It's one of my favorites to play in pubs right now. Very good at winning lanes. Should be good against Tiny, lowering his damage, lowering his HP. And melee heroes against Tomb is going to be a bad time. And Tiny just has really bad attack speed anyways. In a lot of ways, maybe that's one of the reasons that Undyne feels so good in this game. So the offset by Oracle's disgustingly low BAT, perhaps? It's like 1.3 or something.
The Oracle does have, yeah, Fate Seed could be helpful against the Ursa this game, although always
That's true.
spell it off, I guess, with his ultimate. That could force like a very early ultimate.
It's radiant.
Yeah, and a lot of times he's gonna pop it early anyways.
Oh, that's a OG hero of
Yep.
old and
Big
also
stick.
of new.
So, kind of interesting this game. Where do you see the value? It doesn't necessarily counter anything. It can elongate the game. You can get some like magnetic fields, but you're up against an Ursa who's melee, so most of the time it's not a problem.
They, I think, just feel it's a strong hero. That's, I don't think it's like any like, oh, it super counters anything. It's pretty good for killing Tomb. You've got obviously the double hero. You get the attack speed. You've got good range, particularly if you go for a Dragonlance build, which I think we're seeing this more like fighting Maelstrom, Dragonlance, no Midas,
Shadowblade, definitely.
Shadowblades. The Blink Daggers become quite popular because you go for this Blink Hex later on.
Really? So they're skipping Midas? I feel like when I saw it in pubs a couple days ago, I was still seeing Midases, but I can see the benefit of skipping it for sure.
Yeah, I've seen a lot more no Midas on Arc Warden. At the summit, a few players were doing it, and also like some of the pros I've seen in pubs as well. There has been some Midas and then some who just go straight Maelstrom.
And I guess some of the weaknesses that he has in these matchups should be a little backed up by Oracle either way, because that's kind of the scary part about Arc Warden is when people get on top of you, it can kind of just be your death. But if Oracle's sitting behind and he has two ways to cover with his ulti and his second skill, maybe that'll be enough for Arc Warden to be valuable here.
Interesting. They last man Invoker. They're actually expecting a support Tiny, something Jerks could play theoretically.
Yes, I think I've seen that before. Thompson's Invoker has apparently been doing very well. I think I heard somebody talking about it yesterday. But it's fantastic. He was like Quaswex.
Often being banned against them like very early on. I'm actually surprised to still see it in the pool, but I guess you just don't want to commit to your mid that early on in the game. Brood would have been a great counterpick to the Arc Warden in a lot of ways, so that's not going to be coming out.
Although I did hear, somebody went mid tiny against Brood and went 1-1-4, I believe, and would throw the tree to one-shot all the spiders.
Nice.
So maybe there's a solution there, but I didn't get to check the full laning stage, just heard about the idea.
It's also, you have the Tiny, but have you played that matchup before? And if they're running support Tiny, well, you're picking a core, and you can't just suddenly say, oh wait, Tiny, you're back to a core and run a Centaur support or something.
Yeah, it's a little flexible there. So we're looking at probably a Thompson hero. Anna feels a little bit more like an Arc Warden player to me than Thompson, perhaps, but I'm sure both can handle it. Arc Warden is like one of those slightly weird heroes. Maybe he's too boring now because his item build has been so static for a long time, but I want to see some Thompson cheese. Speaking of which, he's really let me down with the voice chat lines. I really thought I talked him up a lot with his hero chat lines. I have not seen very many. Maybe his team told him to focus or something so they can win TI. I'm not sure. Maybe he's nervous. Something changed.
Yeah, Wind Ranger, and it still leaves that question mark of who's actually the mid and the support. I've seen Thompson play this, but 4-position Wind Ranger has been a thing. At least it was for a little while.
It's really good this game. Like you're against an Ursa. He definitely doesn't want to buy a Monkey King bar. Almost always it's going to be like Blink into a Basher or Blink BKB Basher. If he's got to throw MKB in there, that's going to be a bad time. Although it works against Arc Warden too. But either way, if it's a core Wind Ranger, it feels even stronger. If he gets like a hood or something like that, it just feels like he's unkillable this game. Unless he gets like, they don't even have stuns, so they can't even stop him from using Windrun for God's sake, Yeah. The Wind Ranger feels excellent here, if they can make something like Support Tiny. But either way, Support Wind Ranger I think is also still good. I like the pick here.
Leaves a bit of flexibility if they want it. We'll see what EG last pick. I want to say probably Sumail's here with the Necro in the off lane, but Necro Undying just sounds like such a pesky, annoying lane that is very hard to go up against, but have to be. Imagine he'll want something to match up there. It's going to be a Storm, so good against Arc Warden. You can gap close, you can get inside the bubble, take away that evasion, and theoretically has a good enough chase if it is a Wind Ranger core. Can jump the Oracle in the back lines as well, since he's the guy that's going to save people. So you can, anytime you can get straight on top of a save hero is always very nice. I'd
say it's not too vulnerable to Tiny in most cases either. Like yes, he can do some like combo burst damage stuff, but as a whole, most of the time you'll see it coming. And then against Wind Ranger, kind of the same thing. You should be able to predict Shackles. I think this is certainly something that they needed. Although I don't know if I can enjoy this game anymore. I'm kind of physically looking at Arteezy's set. That hat is just breaks the game too much. My immersion it's ruined. I just can't enjoy this.
Have you seen modern day cosmetics? Have you seen what else is in the game? It's a thing of beauty. You don't like Cowboy Ursa?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sold on it yet. It's just a little too the scarf and the hat. It looks like a pilgrim.
Little teeth necklace. I love
like a bear pilgrim. It's kind of weird.
He looks like a friendly. He looks like a guy who would enjoy having a drink within a bar.
Okay.
Whereas normal Ursa, like, I don't want to go near that guy. He's a bit scary.
Okay.
This is like less scary version of Ursa.
I mean, he's a Radiant hero, you know. He's a nice guy. His base damage is low. I don't know if that matters at all, but
yeah.
maybe it influences you.
So, I mean, we'll talk about the Storm being a pretty good pick. It's also a Sumail Storm, so it's got to be... It's a great pick anytime you can get Storm in Sumail's hand.
That's true. And the other thing I'm looking at, Anna is playing Centaur Warrior, actually. So this is a carry Centaur. Now, we went to this tournament in Toronto. It was a Red Bull thing. It was like a show match against Immortals. One of the games when OG was up 2-1, I believe, they picked Pudge safe lane for Anna. So he's got some experience with some atypical carries. And this is TI, so I had a lot of confidence from seeing him play that weird hero as a carry. I think he did a really good job. I could see him doing something just like that with Centaur, just very different.
That is, yeah, something else.
They lost that game, by the way, but
yeah,
but it was sick.
Okay, we'll see how this safe lane Centaur does. Actually, takes me back to when Ace of Secret fame, he used to play in a all Danish team. He used to do this safe lane carry Centaur back when, like, I think it was Manta Illusions, the return worked on them. So you'd send Manta Illusions at towers. So he would go like Radiance, Blink, Manta. Actually, I don't think you'd even get Blink. And just kill every tower on the map.
So it was that like bullshit Manta abuse days for... Okay, I'm going to ignore that because that was just like broken. I wish it was still there. I just wish that the damage reflected was a percentage based on like the illusion, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like that would be better. They are going for a smoke here. A little abnormal actually, the way they pass it, but Arteezy... Oh, if he was an inch to the left here, this could have been him spotting anytime. There's a toss forward, and now the stomp. Oh, this reminds me of the good old days.
Oh, the tiny Centaur. It strikes again. They tip it before the kill. Seb had that quick hands micro going.
That was
Jarek's not as good, Jarek.
That hurt me a little inside. It just brought back all those negative emotions, like the Tusk Centaur and the... I don't remember when Tiny Centaur got really popular, but it felt like maybe like right after Centaur got super buffed with Stampede or whatever is when it got popular again. But that felt dirty. What was that? Who got first? But Thompson too, the mid player grabbing that first blood. Gonna grab a massive circlet. That's gonna change the laning stage in a big way, and free sentry ward for him as well. So a good start for them. Can they grab 2 bounties as well? Kind of looks like it. On the downside, Jarex is gonna have toss level 1. It's not always the best thing.
No. Will be a bit of a fight at the bottom and the top bounty runes here. Another toss. Throws crit after him. Is Crit going to be okay? He's a Crystal Maiden, but Crystal Maiden a lot scarier than she used to be at level 1 with this Crystal Nova.
So they got to always be careful about the toss back to tower range, something they're going to try to abuse for sure.
Top lane, the bounty runes did go the way of EG, but a bit of harass going both ways as Undying got 3 decays off, but...
Took a lot of damage.
Yes, took a lot of damage in the first.
Even with a Stout Shield, I'm kind of surprised how much damage he took here, but this seems like a really good way to deal with a Centaur War Runner, is to put a Necro, because as a melee hero, if he goes for a last hit or deny, you're always going to get the Death Pulse, and Oracle's not going to be able to really sustain trading with the Undying very well here.
I feel like they had to have been expecting it too when they picked Centaur, that it was going to be an offlane Centaur, so something OG likely knew was coming their way, but still feel good about this Centaur safe lane.
I mean, maybe Thompson's going to do some amazing things here mid. You never know. Sumail's already pretty low in HP. Thompson's picked up his level 2 here. He's going to go for a little bit of harass.
Sumail's trying to hug the creep. He doesn't want to take damage from the flux. Luckily, it goes to the range creep.
That was really close. I think it does target whoever's closer. I don't think it's like random or anything, but
okay.
Maybe attack speed slow actually from Overload was huge there. 50% if you get hit by the Overload. So Thompson wasn't able to get that attack off in time. I think worst players, somebody would have died there for sure, but both players realizing kind of the limits of their hero. Another salve coming out for Arc Warden. I feel like I just want to watch this mid lane. I feel like some crazy stuff's going to happen here, but we'll see. Fly still being harassed. On the bot lane, the Wind Ranger Tiny dual lane. Certainly going to feel a little weak with Tiny. This is one of the negatives. I mean, they got first blood, but having tosses got to be so bad. But at least they do have a range core to farm here, so that I guess this is the what they traded off. Having a Centaur, it's better to lane him against the Necro than it is to lane him against the Ursa.
You should hopefully know that, this mid lane's going better than otherwise would be going because of that extra stats, lasting potential with the almost second pseudo Wraith Band from Thompson. Thing stand, EG, with a good CS farm advantage in all 3 lanes. Across the board, the lane setup looks pretty strong from them, and partly because, Tiny did not have that level 1 tree grab.
I would say the lane seems to be going well for OG, though. I mean, they're harassing Arteezy a decent amount. Having Wind Ranger versus Ursa means very low chance that Ursa gets a kill on the Wind Ranger here. And Tiny's just got so much raw HP that surely he's probably fine too. There's a toss back again. They're just trying to win trades by doing this here. But Jax knows that he's got to be a little careful. Seb using his win run too.
Yep.
It's really back and forth here.
Top lane Ana's getting bullied though. He's got 4 CS. He's been constantly decayed. He's getting a lot of harass coming his way. Does have a salve. Needs to make sure he doesn't get it cancelled. And Fly, by the way, suiciding towers.
Oh, is
a little dance.
the new way to do it? I mean, you still give gold to your opponents.
Yeah, but it's, I guess, a small enough amount. Though it's not 134 each, so that number is definitely not accurate.
Was it spread that 134 across 5, maybe?
Believe
like that?
so. I'm not 100% sure.
It's like part of a last hit, basically.
Yes. If that's 134 gold for the entire team, it's worth it in my mind. I know Febby from Immortals would always do this when he'd play like Skywrath and stuff, because it used to be you deny yourself to neutrals, but now
seconds,
the long respawn time made it not worth, so he's like, well, let's get creative. Let's suicide to towers.
Well, still doing a nice job here against that support, knowing the perfect limits of Death Pulse. It's very important that he doesn't nuke you while also healing himself when he gets those trades off. And I'll kind of wonder maybe if it would have been worth it having like an Orb of Venom or something, but it's not quite the same on a range here as it was before, so back to regular stuff. Sumail level 4, 20 and 5. Next to Topson's 18 and 4 Arc Warden, so looks quite even at this point.
Yes.
Very, very even.
Topson did have the first blood, which means maybe a bit more gold in his pocket, but also he's maybe Sumail's happy because he's going even with that first blood gold.
Trading pretty good damage into Sumail. Sumail's got a bottle though, so actually really good. This is a weird build. 1-1-3, not normal.
The Arcane Root is going to do a lot of damage here. Topson being chased really far back. Topson turns and he's going to almost feed away his life. Has the Fairy Fire, but that will not keep him alive as Sumail gets the solo kill. Top lane, by the way.
Definitely wouldn't have gotten that without the Arcane, but
yeah,
what an amazing kill.
Those low cooldowns here, they're not done top. They want Ana as well. He's behind the tower, out of regen here. Another hoof stomp here, hits the Undying as he runs past.
Who about the self? Oh, okay. Necrosa. Did it get interrupted?
And it does have a shrine to fall back to, which may just be the play here. Undying, though, actually going for a soul rip, but didn't have too many units nearby, unfortunately. Ana misses the stun completely as he used an offensive double edge as well. Runes being fought over.
Well, they should be good bottom, but Storm's showing up here at the ball lightning. He's got the regen too.
Yeah.
Dude, Sumail is doing Sumail things, and it's a huge advantage for them.
Arcane Rune kill into a regen rune, into some bounty runes. He's having a fantastic start. He's going to get the other bounty rune for his team. And meanwhile, top, it was No Tail getting 1 out of the 4 bounty runes.
So 3 for 1 there. So more problems for OG, and as zoned as Centaurs, this feels like a rough time for OG with the mid lane ending up bad like this. Still only about a level advantage for Sumail, but I mean net worth wise, it's starting to creep pretty damn high up.
Yep. Yeah, Sumail's just having a fantastic time. He is loving life here. Not that the Arc Warden is not going to have a game at all. He's the most farmed hero on the OG side and has at least gotten a decent amount out of this mid lane, but it's just how well Sumail is doing and going to keep on doing.
Jack's going for a stack actually with the large camp. A little curious about this. Power Shot's not the best at clearing, so it's a little interesting to me, but Ranger using Wind Run to get out of here. A little scary actually, especially with Earthshock, because they just offset some of the Wind Run slow with Earthshock. They can actually chase them for quite a long time.
Some big pressure coming in top though with the Siege Creep spawning. EG pressure the lane. Direside actually went for a pull, which means even more damage is being dealt to this tower, and EG looking to capitalize with both Necro and Undying playing behind the tier 1 tower.
Does get the Sun on Fly though. This is going to be a lot of damage trade. He should be fine unless No Tail shows up at the right time. He's got a nuke in 2. It's going to be close, perhaps. And it's getting really low though.
This magic stick is mega value, but at the same time, he's also constantly getting harassed low and low.
It's like Jarek's dying to a neutral.
Yeah, he actually that was maybe not intentional. Well, intentional in the sense he just didn't want to die to heroes. Tower going to go down. Is there going to be a 9 side? Does not look like OG can get in close, and S4 gets the last hit for it. Good chunk of gold his way. Mid lane, Topson's been gone on here. Sumail wants the solo kill. It's going to be close here. The illusion may kill off Sumail. Can he get the kill? He gets the kill on Topson. Takes down Sumail. They're tipping Sumail. I don't know if that's a player you want to piss off, because he's a guy who's gone 0-3 or 0-5 or something on Storm and in 5 minutes and then turned the game around. So
I mean, that was a huge kill. 500 gold for Topson. Sumail loses 130 there, and he gets about a level out of that. So really nice grab for him. Really needed that considering how the rest of the lanes are going.
Sumail went all in for it, but luckily Topson had the Tempest double and has also got points in his first and third skill, not getting any magnetic field, it would not have really helped him when there's a storm on top of him. And on top of that, Sumail perhaps overextending, thinking he had these raindrops to block a lot of that magic damage.
Yeah, but all the spark rates, I'm sure, it's a lot of magic damage sources. Pretty high HP on this hero, so...
Bottom lane, there was a Shaco on TZ to avalanche the neutral creeps. Jarek's toss crit into the neutrals, but luckily crit, he dodges the power shot. Back at mid though, it's going to be Storm going in, getting some revenge on Thompson. Sumail saying, you tip me, well I'm going to get the kill back on you.
He even gets a kill on his Tempest, so that was a big loss actually. 180 gold, 180 experience.
Bottom lane, Arteezy got the double though. It wasn't just the first initial kill, he gets both.
Yeah, this new skill build on Ursa has been really effective. I mean, Urshock's always been a really low cooldown. We saw that, I think, TI8. I remember Weehaw beating Sumail mid once with an Ursa versus melee hero of some kind, but the duration is 4 out of 5 seconds. So even if they have a wind run and you can stop them from hitting you, it's not necessarily enough time to run away, because as long as he just keeps walking and doesn't attack while he chases you with phase, he's just going to keep hitting Earthshock, and eventually you're just going to be too slow. So it's a hard solution. Seb also might need like a phase himself to be able to get out of there in time.
Oh, nicely played. There's a ward there, and he knows it. He immediately pings Arteezy to get shackled. Not level 60, he's so close. He gets it from the creep. He pops it before the Centaur stun. Arteezy, nicely done by him. He still could be in some trouble here. The Fate's Edict actually blocking a bit of the magic damage. Arteezy turns, gets a kill. Necro shows up as well to get a second kill and has gone down. Jarek's is being chased down as well. S4 can't keep up to him, but they can go for 7 instead. He's being chased down by Sumail, who has a haste rune that wears off, but that's not going to matter as he's still got one overload charge.
These Sumail runes have been so big. Necro's in a lot of trouble this time, though.
Back. He's got a Ghost Shroud and Fairy Fire here with the 1 charges. He's getting close to the creeps. That means the Flux is not going to do quite as much damage, but he still will go down to that last spark race. Crit going for the Freezing Field on 4, but he's not the hero CM that he hoped to be. He will not get any kills and will feed away his life, but it's still EG with a fairly sizable lead early on, despite giving away a few kills there when chasing.
This is the Thompson urn. Okay, I think I've yeah, this is a guy that likes buying this item, especially the Spirit Vessel on a lot of heroes, but it can work really well on Arc Warden because it's another nuke that your Tempest Double can use. If you pick up the charges and you make a Tempest Double, I'm pretty sure that you have those extra charges, so it's an extra 200 damage in these little fights. And if you can keep your opponents separated, taking flux damage and spark rate damage, you're doing a bunch of nukes.
You can't stack the urn charges though, right? Like, you can't use 2 at once. You can stack urn with Spirit Vessel, I believe, but not
probably.
with itself.
But point being, there's more than one hero in a fight usually.
For sure. You can earn 1 and earn another.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
And it's not a ton of damage, but it does add up.
Yep.
Kind of interesting.
Armor in mid. Sumail looking for the kill on Centaur. He goes for the Stampede, but he'd already been caught by the Vortex. He's trying to hit a stun. He actually does get it just after he dies. Fortunately for EG, they won't be able to get Seb as the second kill, but they're quite happy with just the Centaur. Elsewhere, Crystal Maiden goes down bottom. Thompson has gone in behind the towers. You mentioned these urn charges. He's looking to use them.
Needs to get fluxes off. He does.
Yeah. There's the offensive urn onto Arteezy. Does not have the enrage any longer, and he will go down. Nicely played by OG with that aggression down in the bottom lane, even though they do lose Centaur at mid.
Yeah, OG hasn't had any control over the top lane, but they're definitely doing a good job in stabilizing mid and bot. Now Thompson's sitting at 5 and 2, whereas before it felt like he was just really significantly far behind. Still big net worth loss. There's 2 strong cores on EG side and only one that's sitting really good net worth on OG.
Yeah, both Centaur and Wind Ranger having slow games and rough starts. S4 at top is taking a tier 2 tower.
He's gone
on his own. It's not something you would expect to see at 11 minutes in, but OG have been too busy in both mid and bottom lane, like you said, stabilizing these lanes that they just can't address top, and S4 is punishing that fact.
So rotate around. The one hero that's really lacking is probably Wind Ranger right now. I mean, he's not that far away from the Ursa, but I'm sure I'd love to see like a fast mouse from here. He's queuing up phase afterwards. I think this is the right move. Phase is sometimes really needed, but he definitely needs damage, otherwise Focus Fire just is a pretty dead ultimate.
He's going to try and do what he can to defend the mid lane. Thompson shows up as well with the fluxes onto Sumail, who's trying to hug his Crystal Main to take less damage.
Oh, great toss back here. Jarex wraps around and...
I think it is 4. There's the old chat, the busted. He knows he's got S4 maybe. Can they bring him down? Have they got the damage? S4 will give away his life here, but Jarex has gone in a little bit too deep and will pay the price.
Yeah, way too deep. His team got the great kill, but it took a lot to kill that Necro, so... great toss back though. The fact that he wrapped around there basically gives him a free Blink Dagger as his opponent retreats.
You know,
Seb wanting
around the ball lightning.
wants the free power shot. I thought that was a little Spark Wraith following Crystal Mane. Just a dog. No problem.
Settle down as OG fall back. We'll shrine up together and then maybe look to make their next move. 5-man rotation here. They're going to smoke up all together and look to re-engage in mid.
Well, you know, that was straight up under a ward, so
Yeah.
you just gonna be ready for that. See how they react.
They're baiting fly. Gonna...
Maybe more of a Sumail really wanted to get that creep wave, therefore we'll take care of it. That's a really weird place to have a ward. There has been some fights in that area of the map, but nothing like really aggressive. I mean, they still have the tier 1 tower after all, so they were a little unexpected to have a ward there. Not too surprising. OG ended up smoking right under that one.
A ward you'd expect to see like at 20 to 30 minutes, just not 13 minutes into the game. Jerax behind the T1, runs into the Undying, but gets scouted out himself and won't get the initiation. TP coming in. Do they see this one? S4. He's going to get tossed back once again right into Anna's son. Jerax in some trouble here. They're going to blow up the Necro absolutely immediately. Jerax getting false promise to keep himself alive a little bit longer here. Thompson's already got himself a double kill though, with crits. Crystal Maiden going down. The Stampede used just to disengage. Jerax will not be kept alive, as it just wasn't quite enough heal for him during the Oracle ultimate, but even so, it's still a good fight for OG, who once again kill off this pesky Necro.
Yeah, the way that they're starting these fights is pretty interesting. Like, Tiny's always in a wraparound position, ready to toss somebody back. I'm just kind of surprised that the Necro went for that teleport there. I think EG thought they could defend him better, but they saw the Tiny behind the tier 1 tower. They put the sentry there, they spotted him. No Tail gonna be able to heal himself. Gonna take physical damage here, but lose the clarity, successful.
Bit low on mana here. Had some 1 charges, but it's gonna get hit by the power shot. Shrine is available, luckily. Thompson still wants to chase this one. The Spark Rate's being dropped. That wasn't going to catch Sumail. Luckily, can utilize this Shrine, and that will deter OG from chasing any further, particularly with those extra TPs coming in.
Yes, and ultimately delaying this until Centaur gets a Blink Dagger is the goal for OG right now. They're definitely creating a lot of action. Thompson's the big net worth leader now, making things better for his team. I mean, even having Tiny as a support, 30% stats resistance feels really good, actually, with as much HP as he has. Yes, he's got a small amount of armor, but it feels good.
Top bounty runes being fought over. Fly wants it, but he may pay for it with his life. No, they're not going to force the fight here. Anna actually could be in some trouble. He does not have Stampede, does have the hood to block a bit of damage, and Sumail's actually used up all his mana to go for this one. Coming in from behind is Arteezy, though, and that's going to chew apart No Tail. The Stampede comes up, but it's too late. Anna's dead to the Reaper, and that's 46 seconds on the sidelines. Thompson now. Tempest double available. May want to turn and fight this one. Has a force staff to do some chasing with his illusion. I don't imagine he wants to go charging in with his actual hero, and he's just gonna watch EG gather in this mid lane and try and do some extra harass.
They'll slow things down a little bit.
Yep. Slowing down the push with those fields. Tower getting down to deny range. I think at this point you're just hoping to deny it if you're OG, and they should be able to do so. They glyph it. I think they were worried about that siege creep sneaking a last hit in, and
I mean, it's a lot of gold if you don't get that denied. It's like 120 to each enemy hero. This can really add up.
oh yeah. Right. Fortified now going to refresh anyways because it's tier 1. So
good point. So Sumail prepping for his Orchid, nothing surprising there. Looking like they want to die. They do get the first shackle down.
He's going to get the Tempest double out as well. Can S4 keep himself alive. He's got the hood now here as well. The Arc Warden, he double force stops himself away. Really nicely played. Unfortunately, it's going to be Oracle and setting a lot of trouble here. Yeah, I don't see him surviving this one. He's going to pop. As Sumail flying in from afar was looking for Thompson. Changed target, went for 7 set because he can get Thompson as well. And Sumail shows up from nowhere. He was like halfway across the map, and he comes in, cleans up with a double kill. Tiny's like, what can I do here? He's got the angle coming in from behind once more, but doesn't have a Blink Dagger. Neither does the Centaur, and that seems to be a big issue for OGs. They just don't have these Blink initiations.
That was a huge fight. Yeah, the last like 5 minutes, it felt like OG had control, but then a couple of good maneuvers. Arteezy coming from the back when they went for those bounty runes, and now this engagement as well, grabbing the heroes they need. OG's having a little bit of trouble taking a great fight, and it's
very low in this Roshan pit, but OG gonna get there too late. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. They just don't have Blink Daggers. That's the issue here. It's they're able to do these like long range slow initiations, like maybe get a toss back, but that gimmick has worked like 3 or 4 times to great effect. But now they need like a blink stun of some kind or a blink toss back. Because now as long as EG has, I mean, there's less things to play around. Most of the big objectives are gone. So now EG is more just kind of on the map, and it seems like it's harder for OG to actually play around it as a result. Maybe they weren't expecting to lose the laning stage this bad, but at least they've got the blink on Centaur now. they can start landing some initiations and get some follow-ups.
It's very much about a reliable, consistent initiation, because something like a shackle shot, if you hit it, it's nice, but that's not always going to happen, and forces Windranger to position herself sometimes awkwardly or too aggressively.
Absolutely, and he's maxing out more Shackle than Windrun, which I think is the right move, just because there's a Storm Spirit. You got to lock that guy down and get the kill, and longer duration is going to really help out there. So.
The Storm about to complete an Orchid, not going to help him out against these aggression from OG with the blinks and the stuns, but it's going to definitely help him out as far as finding kills on people like Arc 1, like the Windranger, or the Oracle. Yep, that's probably in a team fight almost the ideal target to go for first, because then once you go on is going to get saved.
Ursa going straight Blink Basher like expected, so you can end up getting some solo kills here. Haven't seen Arteezy too often. I feel like I haven't caught him in the camera much. Seems like all the action is always somewhere else. Then he shows up at the fight and goes off to farm again. Typical for him. He's able to keep his farm level up, and it's a 3k gold advantage for EG. It's moderate. Some of that's certainly tower based, but kills map everything. So good position for EG right now.
Yep. Let's see whether EG's eyeing off some kind of maneuver here. Yeah, they're going to smoke up this one, not underneath a ward. They've got okay vision, and it's really just one observer ward in the enemy jungle that's giving them some info as far as what's going on, and No-Tail's got 2 wards to carry along for this smoke gang.
It is gonna spot them. Okay, yep, now they're in.
I believe they saw Sumail for a split second there farming that neutral camp.
They see crit now.
Can they get the blink stun? They put the ward on the high ground here. They go to Crystal Main. Storm immediately counter initiates. We've got TZ blinking as well, but it's a perfect shackle on 2! As well, Storm, they melt, but Storm does have an Aegis. He's going to come back for a second life here, so EG still looking good here. Sumail on his second life goes balling in, catches out the Oracle as well as Thompson's Arc Warden on the back left here. Thompson, he's just trying to TP his hero out of there, but he TP'd to the tier 1. What's he thinking? He's being pinged here. Crit going to give him the tip. It's EG's turn to turn it around. They hadn't been tipping all game, but they'll tip that one, that's for sure.
Oh, that's a mistake. He must have clicked the ground, maybe uses quick cast or something, but he could have been in the fountain healing. But ultimately, again, the same thing happens. EG anticipates where the roam is coming from. They smoke it. They get the scan detection, and they just threw the CM up there. And I was like, how's the CM not die? He's got level 10. He has that. He's a cloak. He's got the health talent, and he just tanks the nukes. And they just go on the back line. Tombstone makes it hard to fight. The shackle was great and gave him some movement, but with Sumail getting this far ahead now, just so easy for him to die for the back line.
Yeah, like when Sumail balls in and Arteezy blinks in and they instantly get 2 heroes shackled, you think the fight could go better for OG, but the problem is Sumail goes in first because he knows he's got this Aegis, so if they throw all those spells at him like they did, fight's gonna go fine. Meanwhile, Arteezy, he popped in rage, so he blocks all the damage. So these 2 heroes that got disabled for a huge ass time actually doesn't win OG a fight on its own. They needed more than that.
And OG's damage is still not very easy to do anyways. Like them getting a 2-man shackle, yeah, you can do some like Avatos kind of stuff, but past that, it's still a little bit of time until Arc Warden is dealing a lot of damage. He went 4-step first because he's against a Storm. He's going for a Maelstrom now. He still hasn't finished it. So it's like, even if they get these great team fights, you saw the damage issue. They can't easily kill a CM on the high ground. Obviously, there's going to be a problem here. And they might find Thompson here. Smoke break.
Instantly blinks in, gets the full sub away, but Arteezy, even without the insta-bash, will easily help his team, and Sumail get the last hit on that kill.
So tough loss there. One of those moments where his team is not really showing much on the map, and as a result, eventually EG is going to go look for a kill somewhere. And looking at the tri-camp was one of the more obvious spots, and they had a little vision here as well from before, so ended up catching the enemy hero farming.
EG just going to split out, farm multiple lanes, and also try to find kills on these multiple lanes. Sumail can kill almost anyone with his Orchid. Bottom lane, Arteezy can kill almost anyone. They're going to get the Orchid initiation. He balls too far, in fact. He didn't quite know where Seb was, but he's got the backup from the CM and will still get the kill. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Anna needs to be careful. Arteezy, okay, he actually blinks away from Arteezy, but Arteezy can follow it up with a blink of his own. Doesn't get the bash once again. RNG just not there for Arteezy, who's now going to get followed up by Thompson. Arteezy does not have the Aegis. No blink available. He's just going to turn and fight, and fight he does pretty damn well. Luckily for Anna, there's an Oracle to back him up.
That was a little close. He'll keep him alive for sure. Big heals on him anyways, and still a little scary, but definitely still possible to kill her. So once he finishes his BKB after this, he's going to be absolutely fine, I'm sure. Doesn't look like he has one picked up just yet. Almost a Blink Dagger on JRX too. The laning stage was a bit mediocre. The early team fights were great, but you're definitely feeling the losses of having a support Tiny in the last 5 to 10 minutes. spot. Once they get the right-click items, Maelstrom's on the way for Arc Warden, but it just feels so hard to play against the Storm this game. He got way too much trajectory from those mid-game fights when he got that double kill and stuff. Like, Orchid is just going to hard counter Wind Ranger for a long time. Normally you have a better trajectory than this, like a faster Maelstrom into a faster BKB, but he's just starting it now.
I think they were hoping that this Wind Ranger would kind of have a more dominant laning stage, but that just wasn't really the case.
Yeah.
Seb's farmed all right, but hasn't really followed it up with much, and has been on the receiving end of several Storm Spirit ganks. Sumail 10 kills in the 23 minutes of gameplay so far already.
Very tough for them to win fights, but at least they've got Blink Daggers now, so that's going to give them more options to initiate maybe a Avatos back into a Centaur, for example. Throw somebody out of position, kill them at the start of the fight, but kind of hard. There's a lot of heals coming from EG's side. There's a lot of survivable cores as well, and S4 looking to go, and he does get spotted though by the Spark Ray.
And there seems low by S4. He's got his defensive heal scepter if he needs an Ana getting orchided up. Can't use Stampede, can't use his stuns, at least not for now. Will he survive through it? No, he doesn't. There's a Reaper, and he's dead for 75. With Oracle also being initiated on, meant that there was no defensive play from the False Promise or a Fate's Edict. EG win the fight and immediately smoke up. They leave S4 bottom.
They had some wards set up on the OG side, but it's so hard to prepare for that when you're against an Ursa and a Storm Spirit, because they're just going to jump in on you and you don't have a lot of time to save yourself. You need some like team fight ultimate that slows things down, and they don't really have that outside of like Shackles or Centaur stuns. So at some point, who's going to hit the towers? They don't really have that either because they have a support Tiny. So maybe they outdrafted themselves a little bit.
EG went for a very aggressive smoke right after those kills, got all the way on the other side of the map, leaving S4 bottom. It felt like that may have tricked OG into playing a bit not defensive enough in the top lane, but
very common for them to be playing around this anyways. I mean, there's a tier 1, tier 1s are hard to defend, so they probably expect there to be a ward there or something like that. That was even dangerous for Seb to go check high ground. Like, once again, smoking right underneath an observer ward.
When EG gonna smoke themselves, they're ready for this one. They're gonna...
They scan it though.
They want to... Okay.
Scan each other, actually. They both know.
Do OG want to fight them head on? Yeah, actually, both teams smoked under a ward, I imagine. Actually, didn't see where EG smoked, if they're on the high ground or not.
They were about here, so I could definitely see it like that. Maybe thinking like, oh, we have an opportunity, but oh, maybe we shouldn't smoke because this is a really obvious spot.
The fact OG aren't moving with their smoke to me suggests they saw it, but here we go. RTG's going to go charging on in. He goes in first, he blows up the Oracle. This makes this fight so difficult for OG and the Shackle. It does land on the Storm. They do take down Spell instantly. Fires back. S4 still looking for somebody to go and has not got the Reaper still. He finds the also cancel Thompson's TP. Great usage of that. Thompson in some trouble. He's inside the bubble. He's going to get chased down while Sumail's buyback allows him to chase down Wind Ranger. Seb hits the deck, only Jarek surviving on Tiny.
Man, it took them everything just to kill Storm Spirit through the Glimmer Cape here. He wants the Jarek skill. Status ration's pretty low. He's got an Avatos maybe, but dodging the Avalanche.
He's got a haste rune though. He's going to throw him away. Sumail's not going to go for it.
Okay. Out of mana at that point. Definitely. Yeah, he's a little sad about that when he wanted the Rampage, I think. He didn't get every kill actually, but still EG outmaneuvering a little bit in terms of these fights. Ursa just always find the Oracle. I think you could definitely criticize No-Tail for his positioning in that fight. He was pretty close to the lip, but playing around a tree would have been a lot better, most likely. That way it's not as easy for them to find you.
He needed to be the ones hiding in the trees. Like, I saw Thompson in the trees in a nice little secretive position. It is difficult because, like, Storm's going to go bowling in and see people, but at the same time, it was Ursa who actually went in first and just found the Oracle.
So still going to be a long time till Oracle gets that survivability. And that's definitely been the criticism of the hero in the matches he's been in games so far, is that if you are the 5 position you're playing Oracle, it's probably hard. Like, you need to play a little bit less greedy, I think, as a 5 to make this guy work, because you need a Glimmer or a Force Staff or something like that, like an item, so it's not just an easy kill every time they jump you. But No-Tail exclusively is buying a lot of Sentry Wards. This is super common for him. Maybe Jarex is going to pick up some way now so he can try to finish those items, but for now we haven't seen it yet. We do get a D ward at least for No-Tail. Putting a lot of sentries down eventually gets one.
Taking away this aggressive EG vision is going to make life a little bit easier, particularly against the Storm, who's just so good and adept at finding those long-range pickoffs. Not many of their heroes are safe against that Orchid or Lightning jump.
And Arc Warden prepping for the Hurricane Pike, actually.
Okay.
Could work okay. Very good against Ursa. Even if like Ursa jumps on his Oracle or something, using the Hurricane Pike would be great. Push that guy 400 units away from wherever he's standing. Get him away from the team. That's really what they need to do. They need to take a fight where they can ideally initiate on their opponents, which is hard. Center's not the best initiator. And then they need to chain burst somebody, get some double shackles or something. It feels like they need a Ravage or something to like really win a team fight.
EG, as far as these team fights go, have force ups on both supports. Like their mobility and ability to kite OG is going to be very tricky to deal with. Crit with a Glimmer Cape as well, playing that 4-position CM, so we get to see that a little bit extra farm. Actually went for the mana cost, mana loss talent as well.
Which is second time we've seen this. It's with a Storm though.
Yes.
So it makes all of his mana go so much farther.
Oh, it's so good with that hero. No-Tell, immediate false promise when Arteezy jumps in, just knowing that he could get bashed on any of those right clicks. Luckily, he does not get bashed immediately. And Sumail going to go bowling and use up his entire mana pool, but with the double damage ring, he may be able to bring down Sepi, and against the stun just on one with Arteezy BKB, he dodges it. Seb going to buy back and try and take this fight. Arteezy's BKB about to wear off. Can they actually chase for this one? They don't have Centaur, who's their kind of key initiating factor. The Tiny may be going to fill his shoes with his Blink Dagger, but looks like they don't want to fight into the Tombstone. Easy, happy to play the front line here. Sumail just going flying on in. This mana efficiency. Let's get shackled up, still alive for now though, and he's just being healed up as well. He's just too hard to bring down. Bowling all over the place, bowling all over OG, who have 4 dead, only a Wind Ranger left alive who just bought back, and none of these other 4 have buyback. EG are just stomping right now.
Yeah, they've had pretty firm momentum ever since they got over the cheesy toss the guy back, kill the guy out of position thing. Just feels like OG hasn't been able to stabilize. Like playing Arc Warrior against a Storm feels hard. He's had to itemize in a weird way with the 4-staff rush rather than getting a damage item. And then for every other fight after that, it just seems like their opponents have team fight advantage from Tombstone and Ursa jumping on people and Necro getting a solo kill and Sumail jumping in. It just seems very hard for OG to take fights.
Yep.
The carry Centaur did not get anything done on the laning stage. Might get caught again here.
And they get him, or will he stampede away? It looks like with the stampede wearing off, should be a pretty easy kill. As EG find kill after kill, 35 in just 29 minutes for one team. And they want Seb as well. Without the Reaper though, that's gonna be a little bit tricky, but oh, okay, nice shackle. Seb will get out there with the shackle into TP.
That was a great teleport, absolutely. Instantly recognized.
Meanwhile, Arteezy, he was trying to TP top, I believe, and it got cancelled by Jerax with a cheeky little blink toss, but Jerax looking like he's going to pay for it with his own line.
Well, it's the game feels pretty much hopeless to me
just trying
right
to
now.
kill off some Tempest doubles now. It's actually crazy with the CM Aura and the Kaya, just how low cost Storm spells are.
76 for a Remnant, yeah.
Yeah, it's 26% total, 24% total. Yeah, no, sorry. That's
pretty good.
Oz math going on here.
That's okay.
Can chase down No-Tell up top. Elsewhere, Seb's dying.
I know, we're gonna stay here. Don't worry about that stuff.
Okay, about Thompson too.
Still alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
The support and support action, we're all about it.
Thompson died. I mean, it's a 21k gold advantage at this point. It does not look good or possible to win for OG at this point to me. I mean, they're close to doubling them in net worth. Still need about another 10k or so, but it feels like OG doesn't have the damage. They don't have a typical carry. Executing is very difficult with the heroes they have, and against a good team, they're gonna avoid that.
And outdone EG. Charging in, and is gonna add one more to his tally. That's number 10. And Tiny not in much better shape. He goes down, and the voice line's coming out. I imagine OG know this one is a bit over and just trying to cheer each other up before going to game number 2.
Yeah, maybe a little hard to execute with their hero matchups, but certainly the laning stage was the toughest part. Just having to lane a Centaur versus a Necro. That does not sound fun, but Necro, if I'm not mistaken, was the opening, right? It was Centaur in the mid game, and all of a sudden Ursa came out, and they're like, well, we definitely can't lane Ursa against Necro, or against Centaur. So.
And yeah, it feels like almost like a matchup they should have seen coming as far as the lane stage goes.
Yeah.
Just putting a hero that's going to match up poorly like Centaur in lane against him is, you know, asking for things not to go very well.
Yes, not going to go very well. And the mid matchup, I think, went better for OG than they maybe expected, but offlane was okay, not amazing. They got that toss kill, which is awesome for the first blood, but it didn't push Thompson into this like complete